Previously on the last Pokémon Crystal challenge run, Goldenrod, don't want to take her, don't want to take him, oh we'll have an Abra, and coming up, and then we'll just put the finger up at him or something as we leave. Today we're going to be running GIRAFARIG. Now this is a Pokemon that was once a champion of our main series leaderboard, so it does have quite a bit of expectation resting upon it, but today I'm going to be aiming for top 10 of the 4 moves leaderboard, simply because this is a completely different format, and I don't think GIRAFARIG's strengths can come into play quite as much in 4 moves. Now, I've spent a very, very long time deliberating over learn sets. A couple of days, in fact, going back and forth between different ideas, and I've finally settled on one. And after we've taught the moves, I will go through explaining my logic. The first move's going to be pretty blooming obvious, so we're going to learn Psychic. It's going to be a very, very strong stab move, and it will do a lot of damage to a lot of opponents. Base 90 power, of course, for Psychic. In slot number 2, we are going to go for Thunderbolt. Now, Thunderbolt is going to be brilliant in the early game. It is going to help out against Bugsy, it's going to help out against Falkner, and we see a lot of water types in the middle part of the challenge as well. We're going to put Return in slot 3 for now. It's not going to see much use in the early game, so we might as well put it in the slots where we can't really access it too much. And then we've gone for Hidden Power Fire in the end. It was a toss-up between Hidden Power Ice, Hidden Power Fire, and maybe even Hidden Power Water, much like Dodrio. But in the end, I did decide on Fire. But before we get into the run, we will take a look at our moveset and stats. We are level 5, and we've got Psychic, Thunderbolt, Return, and Hidden Power Fire. We have 22 HP, 14 attack, 12 defense, 15 as special attack, 13 special defense, and 15 in speed. So that's the GIRAFARIG we're running with. There's only one thing left to do, and that is, of course, to get the challenge underway. So the timer has started, and it will not fully stop until we have defeated Red. Now, why did I pick these moves for GIRAFARIG? It was a very, very difficult decision, but with the learn set we've got, we're going to have super effective moves for 6 out of the 8 gym leaders in Johto, and it's the early game where we lose the most time. That later game and the Elite Four, we can just brute force our way through. We're probably going to be relying on some luck at Lance, but we will still have neutral moves that will do a lot of damage. We can paralyze Lance with Thunderbolts, and we can, of course, hit fairly hard with a Psychic as well. We also don't need to worry then about the Rock Grounds, because we have oodles of special attack, and as we know, the Rock Grounds generally have no special defense whatsoever. That meant that we didn't need to learn Earthquake, which then freed up the move slot for Return and Thunderbolt, and that is just going to provide a good time all round. Now, the rival has Totodile, because the Totodile line can learn Bite and Crunch, so that does give the rival a super effective move to use against us. Whether we'll see that in the course of this challenge, we shall have to see. For now, though, we are going to be focusing on going as quickly as we can, like we always do throughout these challenges. I'm expecting a good time from GIRAFARIG, not necessarily the best time we've ever seen. I don't think it's quite in that tier, but I still think we're going to get a very, very respectable showing throughout this challenge. There is a long way to go, though, until we get to the end, and there are an awful lot of opportunities for us to both save and lose time. With a Pokemon like GIRAFARIG, I generally have no idea how fast or slow we're going to go. A lot of it will depend on luck. If we get a lot of quick attacks by the Rockets, then we're going to be slowed down. If we get no quick attacks, and if very few priority moves hit us, then we're going to be in for a very fast time. I can't see too many trainers giving us too much of an issue, though. Normal Psychic is a bloody brilliant typing in Johto. Now, in this gym, we are going to use Psychic against this Spearow. It's going to be a 2-shot regardless. We can save our berry here, but we will use one of our potions. In fact, our only potion. Kind of thin on the ground with the items. I've stopped picking up a lot of the early game items because we don't really need them. Thunderbolt, however, will be a 1-shot on both of these Pidgey. We'll get rid of those, we'll grow to 8, and now it's time for our first gym. This is Falconer. He is a flying type specialist, of course, and he's going to lead with Pidgey. Just a Psychic will do the trick against the Pidgey, and then we'll use Thunderbolt on the Pidgeot. Single Gust, we don't mind that. We get through at level 9. That gives us our first badge in 2 minutes and 52 seconds. That just reminded me there was a radio station I used to listen to growing up called Atlantic 252, and there seem to be about 3 people on the planet who remember the existence of Atlantic 252, but I blame them for a lot of my taste in music these days came from Atlantic 252. It was very much a rhythm and dance kind of a radio station. That's the music I love listening to. I don't know why I've gone this way. It's the long way through the grass. Hopefully we'll only get one encounter just like that. And we get another bloody encounter trying to get the Super Potion. Now, I do think it's going to be worth taking on this Fisher today. He's got a pair of Poliwag, and we can just Thunderbolt them away. So it's a little bit of speed stat experience, a little bit of special stat experience, and a very, very quick battle. We don't want to take on Mr. Goldeen Man, don't want to take on Gordon. No need to take on Peter as well, so we'll go straight in to the Union Cave. Stick on a Repel. We'll also use this opportunity to bring our Super Potion up to the top. And we will take on Hiker Daniel with his Onyx. This is probably a range. Yeah, we low rolled there, and that was a silly choice there, wasn't it? Using Thunderbolt, I meant to go for return, but my fingers acted a little bit out of sync. We'll take on Russell as well. He's got a set of 3 Geodude for us. All going to be easy one-shots, I reckon, and it will bolster our defences ever so slightly, with the added benefit of giving us some cash, and we like having cash in these challenges because we can spend them on vitamins. Out the forest we go. We don't need any of the items. We will, however, pick up a full heal just in case we get status, and in the Pokemart we will buy 8 of you, and we'll get 3 of you. So 8 repels and 3 super potions. We're probably not going to need to heal that much throughout the course of the challenge, at least from the bag. When we're at opportune moments at Pokemon Centres, of course, we will dip in and have a cheeky little heal. Now here in the rocket section, you can see we get quick attacked straight away, but Rat number 2 does fortunately go for a non-priority move. Having Psychic at this part of the challenge does make the early game very, very easy. There are a lot of poison types that we come up against, and they are just prime for being hit with some Psychic and getting knocked out. They all just keel over very, very quickly. We're going to use Thunderbolt as and when we can as well at the moment. That's just to preserve some Psychic PP for the final rocket. And 3 Psychics will be more than enough. It would actually have cost a bit more time, though, to swap back to Psychic in the previous battle. And we just delete the coughing off the face of the planet. Growing up to level 14, beating Team Rocket for the first time, miraculously healing Kurt's back, and in to gym number 2 we go. This is the Bug-type gym. Now, technically, we have the type disadvantage to the Bug-type gym, but we have super effective moves for days against all of these bugs. We've got Psychic, that's going to be good against some. We've got Thunderbolt, that's going to be good against others. And we've got Hidden Power Fire. So really, this gym does not stand a chance. Fury Cutter is a brilliant move to go up against when you've got good offensive capabilities, because it will never have the chance to build and build up to a point where it's anything remotely considered to be a threat. Once again, we're going to conserve our Psychic PP so that we don't need to go for a heal after we have defeated Bugsy, and we'll just use the Hidden Power Fire here. Ruin Bugcatcher Josh's day. Right, you'd better go to A&E with your Paris and we'll take on Bugsy. Gym leader number 2, Bug-type specialist, leads with Metapod. One shot with Psychic on the Metapod. It's going to be probably a 2-shot with Thunderbolt on the Scyther. Didn't get the paralysis, but we more than easily survive as we grow to 17, and we recover with our berry. One more Psychic sees off Bugsy, and we obtain the Hive badge in 7 minutes and 2 seconds flat. Let's get out of here. Let's run away from Josh. I'm sure he's angry at us. And we'll make our way in to arrival number 2. This time he's going to lead with Ghastly. We'll use the Thunderbolt against Ghastly, no sense in wasting a Psychic. We'll use the Thunderbolt against the Zubat, and you'll never guess what we're going to use next. It's another bloody Thunderbolt. Water Gun doesn't do much at all against us. We grow to 18 and we get through the rival in fewer than 30 seconds after we defeated Bugsy. Let us stick on a Repel now. We'll move those up to the top and we'll start navigating our way through the forest, where I've already done some absolutely shockingly dire movement. Goodness me, you can tell I've not played for a few days. Took a couple of days off, rest my voice, rest up after the flare-up, which, by the way, if you are wondering, seems to be calming down. Hopefully, question mark, maybe. It definitely isn't as bad as it was. You can tell from my voice again. I don't quite have the ailments that I had a couple of weeks ago, well, less than a week ago, when I did the last recordings, and that does mean I'm feeling a little bit more energetic, feeling a little bit more like my old self again. We will take on Gina now. She's got some grass-type Pokemon ready to be ignited, so we'll take care of all of them with Hidden Power Fire. That will then let us get into Goldenrod. I like taking on Gina because she's in the way a lot of the time anyway, and she isn't exactly a difficult trainer to defeat. We'll do a heal here in Goldenrod, get ourselves up to maximum power points again, and we shall go and grab one of their finest bicycles. We'll do a bit of free advertising. If you do find yourself in Goldenrod, do get the bike. Very, very good, very, very handy, very, very quick. Just a good idea all around. Now we've got excellent coverage, which means we'll be able to one-shot all of these mandatories here in the Goldenrod Underground. We'll start off with a pair of Thunderbolts on a pair of Slowpokes and grow up to 19 in the process. Then we have Super Nerd Tiru here. We're going to use Hidden Power. It's going to be the same number of text boxes for Hidden Power as it would be for anything else. Oh god, that was a range. It should have been the same number of text boxes, but we don't want to waste Psychic where we don't have to. So we'll get through him, we will pick up the coin case, and we'll also beat up a Lickitung just because it's fun. I do love beating up Lickitung, and hopefully it'll be a one-shot. No, we didn't get the range again. Never mind, not bad experience. Definitely would be a good idea to take him on regardless, because he is a fully evolved Pokemon. Well, actually, it's a single stage, isn't it? In Generation 1 and 2, and it is very, very much worth the time to knock out. There are some Pokemon up here as well that are worth the time to knock out. Not really with Picnicker Kim, although she should be a one-shot with Psychic. Another priority move hitting us there, by the way. We don't really like taking on Ivan here, whose name I am slowly starting to remember, but there's not much we can do about it. With the way the spinners have been recoded, he's become practically a mandatory. There's a very, very small window you can go through to avoid him, and I've not got the timings down. We do want to take on Waltz because he's got a pair of Bumhead Fire Ducks, and they are very easy to knock out, and they give beautiful amounts of experience. We've got 85 in speed. I don't think we need the Quickie C today. And however, we will take on Psychic Mark here. Now we're going to take advantage of Mark having no physical defense on any of his Pokemon by using a relatively weak return. It should still one-shot all three of his Psychic types. And while we're in the neighbourhood, we will take on Alan as well. He's got a Tangler, and he's also got a really bad day in front of him because his Tangler's now KO'd. So there's not much he can do there. Let us get ourselves back to Goldenrod now via the Rental Abra. And because we've only got 2 PP left in Psychic, we'll do a quick heal now. And then we won't heal after Whitney, hopefully, providing she doesn't beat us up too hard. We are going to have to take on a Schnappable before we get to Whitney, though, and I do believe this thing has a Dark-type move, so we'd better knock it out in one, just like that. And with that, we're at Gym Leader number 3. This is Whitney. She's a normal-type specialist, leads with Clefairy. Clefairy gets a 4 hits double slap, which could have been worse. We outspeed the Miltank, and we two-shot her, growing up to level 23, and that is Whitney defeated. Time of 11 minutes and 49 seconds for the plain badge. Not a bad split whatsoever. Let us now get the heck out of here. We do need to remember to get to the old squirty bottle from Floria and the eavesdropping so-and-so here, and then we'll get a bike and we'll start moving north. Try and avoid the Juggler there, Juggler Irwin, one of the worst battles you can get into He's up there with Swimmer Simon. Or is it Swimmer George? I think it might be Swimmer George in the ocean by Simonwood, the one with 6 Pokemon, all of which were a bit pants, and provide nothing, really, for the battle, but he is very hard to miss if you're going for the Whirl Islands Rare Candy. We have a Stantler there. I'm not a big fan of Stantler's evolution. I liked Girafarig being the only normal Psychic Pokemon, and then Stantler had to evolve and stole some of Girafarig's thunder. I know a lot of people do like Weirdeer, though. Maybe it's a Pokemon we can look at running again at some point in the future. I think I did it around Christmas last year, although don't quote me on that. All the Christmas challenges have started to blend into one at this point. I think I've done 3 sets of Christmas challenges so far on the channel. A lot of them were very, very fun, and others, I've got to be honest, weren't that memorable. Now today we'll only take on Derek, no need to take on Ruth. We've got a good experienced group. Medium Fast is going to start to speed up at this point. However, I do want to take on this Sailor because more often than not, I forget to take him on the way back, but he's hit us with another bloody priority move. Thank goodness Krabby has no special defense though, so we can use a Psychic there, as opposed to having to use a super effective Thunderbolt. Now, in a regular challenge where we do learn moves, we would be absolutely teaching this HM. Strength is brilliant on Girafarig, but we don't need it. We've got moves that are perfectly cromulent in and of themselves. At the moment, Return's power, I think, would be about 99, looking at that on the Learn Set list. Something like that when you factor in Stab and Whitney's Badge Boost. But we're not going to be using Return against this Noctowl. Instead, we're going to use Thunderbolt. And still, we haven't paralysed anything with Thunderbolt. It will happen eventually. I'm just hoping it's waiting for critical moments to kick into gear. We do have a few trainers to take on our way up through this lighthouse. Most of them are easy, though. And Psychic will be just the trick. We could probably even have gotten away with Thunderbolt against those Growlithe. They're not exactly known for their tankiness. We will use the Thunderbolt against this Marill because I think Marill's got a fair amount of bulk. And I don't want to risk it for a Biscuit. We'll grab the Ether, and we'll also take on this Sailor. He's only got a Poliwhirl, and we can use a single Thunderbolt to get a lot of experience points and a little bit of extra money as well. We'll take on Ernest as well. He is a fairly easy battle to contend with. Should be a bunch of one-shots here to get rid of him. And that means we don't have to worry about our movements on the second trip up the lighthouse. I've a feeling, you know, I forgot to buy Super Repels. We shall have to check when we go in the bag. If we did, it's not a problem. Yes, we did. So we'll bring those up now. And then we will just factor those in when we make our way back to Ecruteak. We do that by having a cheeky little healer here in the Pokemon Center. And then we shall buy just 11 Super Repels. We'll get on the bike and we shall leave. We don't need to do that movement, but still good to be in the habit of doing that movement. And we'll go straight into the Burnt Tower now. Here in the Burnt Tower, we are going to take on the rival for the third and middle time already. And again, it's going to be a very easy battle. This time he's going to lead with his Haunter. We're not going to complain about that. We've got Psychic. It's a one-shot. Up next is Croconaw. Thunderbolt is probably going to be a one-shot just like that. He tries with a Magnemite, so we'll bring out the old Hidden Power Fire. And then we've got Zubat, a Thunderbolt with its name, knocks it out. And that is the rival all defeated for a third time. Let us break our ankles as we release the beasts. We're going to Ghost Ucene, seeing as we are in the Ghost-type city. And we will pick up the HP up from this corner of the Burnt Tower. Nobody else seems to want it, or they just don't have a way to smash rocks. They don't know what a hammer is. They haven't been to B&Q. And now we'll go in to gym number 4. There's a lot of very boring battles in this gym though, so let's skip ahead to Morty. There we go, one set of completely panched gym trainers out of the way, and we'll now take on Morty. He is gym leader number 4 of 16, and he leads with Ghastly. One shot on the Ghastly, one shot on the Gengar. We know what's happening here in this gym. One shot on the Haunter. And we will also one-shot the other Haunter as well. Very easy gym battle there, getting us the Fog Badge in 17 minutes and 45 seconds. With that, we will take a trip into the Dance Theatre where we're going to beat up some Kimono Girls Pokemon, starting here with Flareon. One Psychic is enough to dispose of the Flareon, and up next is going to be the Peskeon. Now, Return is probably going to be our best bet there. Yep, absolutely a one-shot on the Peskeon. This Umbreon could be a little bit of an issue, so we're going to use a Thunderbolt on turn 1. Oh, never mind, it's not an issue at all. Return on turn 2 finishes it off, and now we've got two fairly easy Kimono Girls to finish off with. We'll start off with the Thunderbolt on the Vaporeon, growing up to level 31, and then we shall take on the Jolteon. This is going to be a one-shot with Psychic, and we do get rid of the Kimono Girls once and for all for this challenge, getting HMO3 and the Raft en route. And now we will very, very quickly use a couple of Ethers, one on Psychic, one on Thunderbolt. We'll get on the bike and we'll start making our way towards the Lake of Rage. Going to stick on a regular repel for this moment. Pick up the Super Potion there so we have another bag heal. And we'll make our way in to the Mount Mortar, because I still want to take on Miller. He is very, very good experience points. Definitely worth taking on. Should probably be a one-shot with Return on both of his Nidos, and then we can just get out via the escape rope. And with that, we get a call from the bike shop in the worst possible tile, because that means there's some awkward movement there. Couldn't have waited 2 seconds for the repel to run out either, could he? Never mind, we'll stick on another repel. We do want to get the Bitterberry in this particular instance. I think having 2 Bitterberries is going to come in very, very useful. Or even very, very useful if you like. Let us take on Ron with his extra Nido, using a Psychic there to knock it out in 1, growing up to 32. And we'll also take on Pokemaniac Ben with his Slowbro, because we've got Thunderbolt, and Thunderbolt is going to be a one-shot, just like that. Our next battle is going to be a one-shot with Thunderbolt as well, because we're going to take on the red Gyarados. Once again, it's red in this challenge. Have you noticed, by the way, with shiny Pokemon, I've removed the flash that happens, because I know that can be a little bit uncomfortable for some of you. So I thought, why not just get rid of it entirely? Now, up here, we are going to want to go to the rare candy here in the Lake of Rage. We will pick up the full restore as well, make sure we've got bag slots for those when we buy more at the League. And we can just pop in here to grab ourselves a delicious rare candy. We'll now rent Labra all the way back to Olivine City, where it's time to start surfing across the open seas. I was convinced there for some reason we had a repel on still. Must have worn out, we'll stick on a repel now. One Tentacool is not going to make the world of difference, especially because we've evaded Kaylee and her very, very long vision. We will do a very quick heal here in the Cianwood Pokemon Center. We'll grab the secret potion from the man here in the dodgy shop, and we'll make our way into gym number 5. This is Chuck's fighting type gym, and this should be a fairly trivial gym for us. Even though we don't resist the fighting type because we have the normal type behind us, we still have super effective stab for every single one of these Pokemon in this gym. It's going to be a very, very, very easy time of it. And while I could swap to other moves to avoid the super effective text box, I think in this instance it's going to be a little bit quicker to just hold on to the Psychic button so that I don't have to keep going up and down the menu to select the moves, because that will probably waste more time than a text box, which I can just auto-fire my way through. We've got 3 Psychics remaining now for the Chuck battle. I wonder if we'll need all 3 of them. Let's find out. This is Chuck, Gym Leader number 5, Fighting Type Specialist. Leads with Primeape, which goes down in 1. Here comes Poliwrath. We use Psychic. We one-shot. So no, we didn't need all 3. We only needed 2. That is the Storm Badge acquired, though, in 22 minutes and 11 seconds. Let us chat with Chuck's wife now. She will give us the air balloon, and that means we can start flying here, there, and everywhere. Gonna do another quick heal here in the Pokemon Center, seeing as we are right next to it. And we will bring the air balloon up to top spot. We'll move the Rentalabra down there. And I am just gonna very quickly go to Azalea Town so that we can grab the charcoal. I'll do the rest of the housekeeping off camera in a moment. But for now, I do want to grab the charcoal because we are going back to Olivine. because we are going to take on Jasmine next. No need to heal, of course, we've just done that in the Pokemon Center, and we don't need to do any kind of special movement here because we've taken on most of the trainers here in the Lighthouse, so we can have a very, very nice leisurely jaunt up to Jasmine here at the top of the Lighthouse. She will pretend to give that secret potion to Amphi. We know what she's doing though, so we will have to take on in hot pursuit as we say that this is Jasmine. She is our 6th gym leader together today, a Steel-type specialist who's going to lead with Magnemite. We'll use Hidden Power Fire. It's a one-shot, expected nothing less. Same on Magnemite number 2. What we really care about is this Steelix. And we crit! Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. That is what we like to see. An easy Jasmine for the mineral badge in 23 minutes and 36 seconds. Let's get ourselves back to Mahogany Town now, where we have a bunch of rockets to deal with. I'm not going to make you sit through any of these. We know what's going to happen. It's going to be one-shot city. So let's skip ahead to the very end of it. There we go. One rocket section all defeated for another challenge. And it was in that rocket section, by the way, that Return became more powerful and psychic when you factor in things like Whitney's badge boost. Let us now get out of here, and we'll go into our next gym together. This is Price's Ice-type gym. We're going to start off by beating up a Jinx because she's in the way and it's a very, very easy KO. And now we have to take care of Douglas because we messed up our movement. That's fine though, we can use some physical defense stat experience, and we've got Thunderbolt, so it's going to be a very, very quick and easy battle. Let us do the loop-de-loop around, and now we'll take on Price. He is gym leader number 7 of 16. He's an Ice-type specialist, leads with Seal. We one-shot the Seal with a Thunderbolt, with a Return rather. Then we move on to the Dugong. It's 2 shots with Thunderbolt, and then we can probably use a Hidden Power Fire. No, actually, let's use Return, try and avoid a healing loop. Did we avoid a healing loop? No, we didn't. Never mind. Still get the 3-shot there on the Piloswine. Glacier badge in 29 minutes and 13 seconds. That's the one brain fart gym I'm allowing in this challenge. Hopefully there won't be any others. I'm sure that we will have done some inadvertent stat experience manipulation there via taking on the Shelder line, and that might make us survive on 1 HP against some kind of really strong physical attack later. Who knows? That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that that will not have been in vain. Let's start making our way through the ice path now. Goodness me. I was overdue one of those gyms where my brain just stopped cooperating for a moment. So it's not the worst thing in the world. We didn't lose too much time. We've still got sub half hour for 7 badges, and that's kind of like the halfway point of the challenge. I know I always say that we are only halfway through after the league, but if you're looking at pure time, that is the halfway point. So we still could get a very, very low time, probably 1:0 something as opposed to sub hour though. You really need to be looking at about 58 minutes. 28 minutes rather for sub hour with that 7th badge split. 58 minutes and getting sub hour throughout the entire challenge would be very, very impressive. I'd love to see someone be able to do that at some point. Maybe if we find some kind of like RNG manipulation skip, we'd be able to do that, but we don't do any of that on this channel. However, we do pick up an elixir, and we also try and avoid this bloody trainer here. She's the absolute worst. All she does is spin around in a circle, and yet I completely fluff up my movement against her. I do want to pick up the extra PP up today, and I absolutely want to pick up the extra Prosecure Berry. There are a couple of battles coming up where I think we might end up being paralysed, so that will be a useful item to have. We'll do a PP heal here in Goldenrod, and we'll take on the next rival. And now, after beating up a few of the rockets, we do have to take on the rival for a 4th and penultimate time. This time he is going to lead with his Golbat. We'll use Return, no need to overcomplicate it, it goes down in 1, same with the Sneasel Pleasel. That brings us on to Feraligatr. We've got Oodles of special attack, so it goes down to a single Thunderbolt. We'll swap to Hidden Power Fire for the Magnemite, and that just leaves Haunter left to go. Thunderbolt disposes of the Haunter, and we get through the rival very, very easily. I always like Damageless Rival 4, it happens more often than it doesn't, but it's always satisfying nonetheless. Now, we've got a bunch more rockets to take care of, and we will skip to the end in just a moment, but I was trying to think about the story for this Girafarig, because every single challenge I do, I like to think of the story in my head of how this Pokemon ends up performing, what it's like, what its features are, and I think Girafarig is very much the overperforming underdog. It was never intended to be top of the leaderboard when we did our first solo run with it. It just ended up being a lot better than I ever imagined it would be, and I think it's kind of doing the same here in 4 moves. We are still very much in the easy part of the challenge. Our big obstacles are going to be Lance and Red for Girafarig, but as it stands, we are doing an awful lot better than I ever expected to do with this giraffe, and I really hope that continues into the second part of this challenge, because I love this line. That first solo challenge I did with it really did solidify a special place for Girafarig with me, so I'm always going to put in the extra 10%, as it were, to make sure that we can try and get the best possible time, at least for a first run with Girafarig. But you can see we're barely scratching the surface of these rockets. Let's skip ahead now to the very end of them. I'll tell you what, this section never gets any less bloody tedious. We've only got 1 rocket left to go now, though, and then we can forget about them for another challenge. He leads with Houndour, we use Return. We're going to use Return against Houndoom as well. Same thing happens, 2 one-shots. And we'll use another Return on the Coughing, because why the heck not? Very easy end to the rockets. They leave, they make their escape. Somehow they didn't think to try and arrest them or something. They've just taken over a radio tower and presumably had hostages. I thought that was an arrestable offence myself, but what do I know? Marie will give us the pink bow. We'll stick that on next time we menu. And now we'll go down on to the ground floor and we shall answer this brief little survey. They don't seem to be too bothered about the radio tower takeover. Maybe they just thought it was a little bit of fun to break up the monotony of working in the reception of a radio tower. Let us now equip the pink bow. If we know how to menu, it does help. And we will make our way over to Blackthorn once more. We don't have too much to do here in Blackthorn now. In fact, the only thing we've got to do is take on the next gym. This is the Dragon-type gym, and I think it should be a fairly smooth affair. We can one-shot most things with Return, and what we can't one-shot with Return, we can probably hit with a Thunderbolt instead. Now, we do have to get through Paul, and then we've got a Seadra to take care of. Going to be interested to see how much we do against the Seadra with Return. A lot is the answer. Right, that means we can use Return against Claire's Dragonair, and we will absolutely one-shot it in the face. Not sure about the Kingdra, though. We'll have to see. I shall try and use a bit of gut instinct for that Kingdra. Gonna swap to Psychic for this Seadra. I want to save some of our returns so we don't have to heal after Claire. Let us use a Return rather against Mike's Dragonair there, and then I think we'll try Psychic against Lola's. Should be a fairly good time using Psychic, and we might even get up to level 47. Do we one-shot with Psychic? Yes, we do. Absolutely brilliant. Let's now take on Claire. She is our final Johtonian leader, gym leader number 8. Dragon-type specialist leads with Dragonair. It's a one-shot with Return. Would have expected nothing less, really. So it means that the dragons won't be paralysing us today. What about the Kingdra? Thunderbolt, into Surf, into Return, into Win. That is how we avoid the healing loop at Claire. We have managed to avoid a healing loop here, so we make up for the healing loop we had at Price. That means we can now stick on another Repel and make our way into the Dragon's Den, where this horrible so-and-so is out to ruin our day. We'll get rid of his Dragonair, growing up to 48 in the process, and then we'll just put the finger up at him or something as we leave. We will pick up the Max Elixir though, we'll get rid of the Whirlpool, and then we'll go into the Dragon Shrine, where we're going to answer double 1, 2, 1 and 2. I said double 1, 2, 1 and 2 please, just like that, to get ourselves the final badge of Johto. That is Claire's badge, the Rising badge, in 40 minutes and 36 seconds. Not quite sub 40-minute Claire, but still very, very good nonetheless. Let us leave here now, and we are in go mode as we are heading towards the Pokemon League. I don't think we need to take on too many optionals at all on a route to the Pokemon League. We're already level 48. We've got very good moves, and I can't see the League being that much of a threat for us. So we'll avoid Megan there, I want to call her. Might be completely wrong. I will, however, take on Rena. I think Rena is a very good battle to take on regardless. She has 3 Pokemon we can easily one-shot, and we don't need to worry about anything. That will give us just that slight bit more experience. We will now stick on another Super Repel, and we'll keep on making our way further north. We get the free heal here in the heal house. We're absolutely going to take care of that. And we skip Inevitable Joyce today. She's not so inevitable after all. I do want to take on Jake, just because he's got a couple of Pokemon with fairly good bulk. So this should give me a good idea of just what we should be doing against the League. Now, we do have to take on Big Beth and her Rapidash, no two ways about that, but it is a very easy one-shot getting up to 49. I like being around about 49-50 for the League. It does mean we're in for a fairly good time of it. Let us stick on another Super Repel. Now, I did sell, of course, that HP up from the Burnt Tower for some vitamins, which means we'll have to get our backup one from Victory Road here. Don't need to pick up anything else, though, so let's engage the rival in one last battle. This time he's going to lead with his Sneasel, which is a smart choice if it didn't go down in one. Up next is going to be Golbat. We'll stick with Return. Why change the habit of a lifetime? We have to against this, though. Hidden Power is going to be just a trick against Magneton. Against the Kadabra, we'll swap back to Return. He's going to send out his Feraligatr next. We're going to one-shot with a Thunderbolt, and that just leaves Haunter left to go. One more Thunderbolt finishes off the rival for one last time, and we are into the Pokemon League now. First thing we're going to do is buy a bunch of full restores. 9 seems like a good number. And then we'll park ourselves in front of the reception. We'll take a look at our stats and we will make some predictions. We are level 50 with 146 HP. The 4 moves we chose at the start of the challenge are Return, Thunderbolt, Psychic, and Hidden Power Fire. 121 in attack, 98 in defense, 131 in special attack, 106 in special defense, and 121 in speed. Those, of course, are just the out of battle stats. We will get a big buff in battle, as we'll see in a moment, against Will. Now, as for this league, I think it's going to be fairly smooth up until Karen, then the wheels will fall off, we'll have a dreadful time, and I'll want to cry. That's genuinely how I think this will go. So let's now get ourselves into the league and see what happens. Our first league member is Will. He is a Psychic type specialist who's going to lead with Xatu. We'll use Return against Xatu, we'll knock it out in 1. Up next is Jinx. It's another one-shot, and his third Pokemon is Executor. Now, I don't think we're going to one-shot this thing, and we have managed to evade the Leech Seed. Thank goodness for that. What about this Slowbro? Can we one-shot with Thunderbolt? Yes, we can. That just leaves the final Xatu left to go. We knock it out in 1 and grow up to 51. And that was a very, very good start. League member 2 is Koga. He is a Poison type specialist who's going to lead with Ariados. We'll keep on pressing the Return to Win button against the Ariados. We'll swap to Hidden Power Fire and ignite the Fortress. And that brings us on to Muck. Now we'll use a Psychic against the Muck. Even though it's got fairly good special defense, it cannot withstand our Psychic. Neither can this Crobat, and neither can the Venomoth. Very, very good stuff there. Perfect Koga battle in a time of 44-11. And we're going to have a nice time of it again now against Bruno. He is a Fighting type specialist, leads with Hitmontop. We'll use Return against Hitmontop, growing up to 52 in the process. We'll swap to Psychic for the Onix. That's going to guarantee a one-shot there. Back to Return we go for the Hitmonlee. Another nice one-hit wonder. Back to Psychic for the Machamp, that's going to be a 1 KO as well, and we'll continue using Psychic against Hitmonchan. Good stuff, through Bruno, first try, 44-44. Now we've got Karen. This is going to be one of the sticking points of this challenge. I think we'll stick in all of our rare candies, try and get as many levels as we can. We'll use the HP up, and then I do want to hold on to a Bitter Berry as well. And with that, we'll take her on. This is Karen. She's a Dark-type specialist. She's going to lead with Umbreon. We'll use Return against the Umbreon. We do a lot of damage, but Sand Attack has hit, unfortunately. Murkrow's next. We'll use Thunderbolt against that, and we'll get the one-hit KO. Houndoom is third. We hit our return. That is a very good sign. And now we have Gengar. Psychic connects. No Destiny Bond for Karen today. We'll continue Psychicking. That Sand Attack meant nothing as we knock out the Vileplume. And we get first try Karen. However, this is the battle I've really been worried about. This is Lance in the pants, and I genuinely don't know what to do here. I think we Purse Cure Berry and hope for the best. I don't think we're going to one-shot even with Pink Bow and return. Let's give it a go. This is Lance. He is the Liar with the Flyers, and he's going to lead with Gyarados. Now, we just need to get a little bit lucky here against Lance. That's all we really need. We can use Return against this Dragonite. Thunder Wave has paralysed on turn 1. We've got to hope that we don't get paralysed by this next Dragonite. It didn't paralyse us. That is what we wanted. On to the Scarodactyl. We've got Thunderbolt for that. It's going to be a one-shot. How about this Zard? We'll use another Thunderbolt. It will be a one-shot as well. I think we might have the win. We'll use Return against this last Dragonite. It uses a Safeguard, and he Healing Loops. We never see the Healing Loop here. Growing up to 59, first try Lance. That is what we like to see. 46 minutes and 42 seconds. Girafarig has made it through the first of the horrible battles. Actually, the second if you count Karen as well. And took it like an absolute champion. So it's 46 minutes and 58 seconds through the Hall of Fame for our Girafarig. Let's take a look at our midpoint leaderboards. And so we are in 6th place on our 4 moves leaderboard, in between Kingler and Muck there. It does push Weezing into the page 1 drop zone, and Snorlax is now heading up page 2. They're in 11th place. If we take a look at the overall midpoint leaderboard, we are still on page 1 in 6th place again, just a minute or so ahead of Kyogre and behind our Kingler challenge there. It does push one of our Zangoose challenges on to page 2 as well now though, and that I think is a sign of just how well Pokemon can perform in 4 moves. You might have seen there in 52 minutes there was another Girafarig. There's another Girafarig on this page as well in 55 minutes. I really do think Girafarig is one of those Pokemon I can run over and over and over again. It's like with Ursaring, like with Dodrio, like with Zangoose. I have my favourites. They all share the common theme as well of being part normal type. We've saved a lot of time from our original Girafarig challenge as well there in 146th place. But that was many, many, many moons ago now. And that time at the time was respectable. But this is just the midpoint of the challenge. We do, of course, have another 8 gym badges in the red fight left to come, so don't you dare go anywhere. Kanto is next. And now we are rejoining the action as we always do here in Vermilion City, where the first thing we'll do is grab a rare candy from the chairman of the Pokemon Fan Club. With that safely tucked away in our bag for another challenge, it's time to get on with the Kentonian Gauntlets. We're starting here at Lieutenant Surge. Now this should be a fairly easy gym for our Girafarig. We do have to get through Eggy Greggy first, and I think it's just going to be a case of holding down return for most of this Kanto section. There are going to be a couple of points where we'll have to swap moves, like against Surge's Magneton for instance. However, we can one-shot Raichu with return for a very nice start to the battle. He sends out Electrode number 1. We've got 160 speed. That is far, far greater than his Electrode's 123 speed. Swap to Hidden Power Fire for the Magneton, and now we can keep on returning for the rest of this battle. No need to overcomplicate it as we grow up to level 60, and we obtain our first badge, the Thunder Badge, in 46 minutes and 59 seconds. That's a lie. Let's get that fixed at some point. We will move on to Sabrina. This is where we'll get our first proper Kanto split. Not sure why we decided to get an extra split there for Surge. I can tell you we definitely didn't get 17-second Surge. This is Sabrina, Psychic-type specialist, leads with Peskeon. We'll use Return against Pescion, and it will be a one-shot. We'll do the same against the Mr. Mime, another one-hit wonder, and then we can one-shot Alakazam as well. Very good stuff there, defeating Sabrina in a time of 49 minutes and 54 seconds. Let us now very quickly fly back to Saffron, dip in and out of the Pokemon Center, and we can make our way in to City number 3. This is Celadon City. I do want to pick up the lefties just in case we need them for red. And now we'll make our way in to Erica's gym. Erica's a grass-type specialist, and in the early generations they loved pairing up grass and poison together. So if we do need it, we do have Psychic in our back pocket. For the most part though, it's going to be like most of the other gyms so far. We're just going to be spamming Return, because that seems to be getting the trick done very, very easily. We've got just one more mandatory trainer left to go. I don't know why they stuck so many mandatories in for Erica, because they are all just fodder at this point of the challenge. I do genuinely wonder whether they wanted you to start a team from scratch in Kanto and sort of play the game again. We will never know though, I suppose. Let's take on Erica now. Gym leader number 4 here in Kanto. 3 in Kanto, not 4. Getting ahead of myself. Grass type specialist. And a very, very, very easy battle. It's just going to be a case of holding down Return once more. And we do get through her easily. That is the Rainbow Badge in 51 minutes and 15 seconds. Let us leave, we'll get on the bike, and we'll make our way down Cycling Road next. We have 5 returns left, so we are probably going to have to use something different for Birdkeeper Bob, but I'm sure that won't be too much of a problem. He is our pseudo-mandatory for the Janine battle. We'll use a Psychic, and we'll knock it out in one. Thank goodness Noctowl isn't actually a Psychic-type Pokemon. I always thought it should be. I always thought that Xatu should be something other than Psychic Flying, and that Noctowl should have had the Psychic Flying typing. This is Janine, by the way. She is a very, very easy gym leader, our halfway point for the Cantonian gym leaders, and she does waste her money today with a dire hit. We are able to get through by spamming Return, as we always do against Janine when we're running a normal type. Very easy battle there, obtaining the Soul Badge in 52 minutes and 12 seconds. Right, with that, we're going to use a teleport to get ourselves back to Saffron City. On the bike we go, and we are heading east towards Lavender Town. Got to get past this awful spinner, but I have been practicing my movement, so I got through a lot easier than I have been lately. We do have to take on Hiker Jimothy here. We'll just use a Thunderbolt against his Machamp, and I'll see you on the other side of the tunnel. Fairly smooth rock tunnel on this occasion. Did make a couple of mess-ups, and I do want a PP heal here in the Pokemon Center, seeing as we have to dip into it anyway. We should have more than enough steps, though, to get us into the power plant. Ooh, maybe the movement was a little bit rougher than I thought it was. Never mind, though, we did still have enough steps to get into the plant, and that is all that matters. We will now take a fly back to Saffron City, where we are going to start cycling up north, because we are going to Cerulean. Why are we going to Cerulean? Because we've got Nugget Bridge to do. First thing we'll do, though, is activate the tiny little rocket sequence here. Here is, and that was the entire rocket sequence, and now we'll make our way on to Nugget Bridge. Now, on this Nugget Bridge, I want to talk to you all a little bit about, like, my feelings for the channel at the moment. I feel like I've very much settled in to 4 moves being my main series. I was going to try and experiment with a few different series ideas. 4 moves was the first of them, but I don't think I need to now. I am very much settled in doing this, so this is going to be the main series, absolutely going forward for at least the next few months. I'm going to be doing Supermon once every couple of weeks as well, so in a couple of videos' time, we do have another Supermon challenge. I think once every 2 weeks is about right for Supermon. I've tried kind of bunching them together and it didn't quite hit as well as I would have hoped, so we are going to be spreading those out. They're going to be in a regular time slot as well of every 2 weeks, so that does give me plenty of time as well in between the Supermon recordings, because for every Supermon video that gets made, let me tell you, there's a lot that end up on the cutting room floor because they either didn't provide a good enough story, there was nothing interesting about it and we got KO'd randomly, or I just wasn't feeling it, which has happened a couple of times, and you've got to feel it in order to put it out here on YouTube. So yeah, I think Supermon is going to be our B series, and this is going to be our A series going forwards. And I think the pair of them together have such different play styles that it is really, really fun to see which Pokemon excels in which format. Let us now take on Misty. She is our next gym leader. She's a water-type specialist, leads with Golduck. We one-shot the Golduck, out comes the Quagsire, and we do exactly the same. Now, can we one-hit a Lapras with return? Absolutely we can. And we will definitely make light work of the Starmie as well, growing up to level 64 there, and obtaining an escape badge in 55-39. Let's get the machine part and let us get back to the power plants. We'll use the Rentalabra, of course, to get there. We'll stick on a repel just as we hit here. We'll move the max repels up to top spot now. No need to keep on with the super repels anymore. We will go in here, have a little chat with the manager, return the very, very wet machine part. We'll get Zap Cannon, which we can learn, but unfortunately could not justify it in this challenge. Off to Lavender we go, where we'll have a little chat with the director of this radio tower. He'll give us the X-Men card, and now with both pieces of the radio card obtained, we can wake up this pesky, pesky bear. We do that by going onto the Pokegear, going up to the Pokeflute channel. Very, very intuitive if you're a 10-year-old kid like I was playing this for the first time. I think I got stuck there for weeks, not knowing what to do, and now we'll take a trip past 3 Drill and make our way in to Brock's gym. Now, Brock is a rock-type specialist, and as far as I'm aware, rock resists the normal type, so we're going to have to use some alternative moves here. He is our next gym leader, though. He is 15th, I want to say 14th. Of course, leads with Graveler. Psychic, one-shot on the Graveler. Psychic, also one-shot on the Omastar. Up next is Rhyhorn. Psychic is yet again a one-shot. That brings us on to his Onix. With no special defense, it goes down in a single hit. And we do the same against Kabutops. Good stuff there. Getting through Brock. First try, no damage. In 57-19. Let us now walk past 3 Drill on foot, because that is the way to avoid 3 Drill very easily, and then mess up my movement here at this tree. That's absolutely fine, though. We'll chop down this tree. We will then go and grab a Max Repel from the bag and fly to Viridian. Set our TP spot there so we don't have to fly back later, and we can cycle down through Pallet Town. Down here, we've got a couple of bits to do. The first thing we need to do is pick up a rare candy here on Cinnabar Island. For some reason, the volcano erupting, maybe it was an explosive eruption. Whatever it was, it did show up a rare candy there. So we'll absolutely take it, even though it might taste a little bit funny now. And we'll go in to Blaine's gym. Blaine is our penultimate gym leader. He is a fire-type specialist, leads with Magcargo. We'll Thunderbolt the Magcargo, knock it out in 1. We'll use Return against the Bumphead Fire Duck. That's another one-shot. And then we will return the Rapidash as well. Growing up to 65 and defeating Blaine. Volcano Badge acquired in 58-28. We're going to use a Max Elixir. Then we'll Rentalabra all the way back to Viridian City, where we have our final gym to take care of. This is Blue. He is a mixed-type specialist, and he's going to lead with Pidgeot. We are going to start off with a Thunderbolt and guarantee the one-shot against Pidgeot. Moving on now to Alakazam. We'll use Return against the Alakazam. It's going to be a nice and simple one-hit. Now, does Psychic one-shot a Rhydon? Yes, Psychic one-shots a Rhydon. That was the only Pokemon I was really slightly worried about. We've got 4 times super effective Thunderbolts for the Gyarados. We will use Return against the Exeggutor, probably going to end up Leech Seeded, or we can just crit, that works as well. And now for the Arcanine, we're going to start with the Thunderbolt, hope we avoid a Healing Loop, which we do not, unfortunately. How about now? Yep, there we go. Good stuff. We're not getting sub-hour, unfortunately, but we're going to get pretty bloomin' close to it. 59-27 for the final badge there. Let us use a couple of those. We'll use an Elixir, and we'll fly over to Pallet Town. In Pallets, we'll have a little chat with Professor Oak. He is going to unlock Silver Cave for us, and that is going to be our final destination of this challenge. Let us use one last super repel, and then we shall rental Abra back to Viridian, make sure we don't have to faff about with the fly menu, and we can be on our merry way there. Get off the bike there because my movement hasn't been great today. But that should be the last of the annoying ledges. We are going to dip our heads in this Pokemon Center. Then we shall chop down these trees. I'll pick up this last rare candy, I'll use them, and I'll meet you in front of Red. Really, really clean movement through the first room of Silver Cave now. And we are in front of Red. Now, I am thinking with Red, I don't think the pink bows to play. I think the leftovers are going to be more helpful because I don't think we're going to one-shot Pescion, and Snorlax is going to chip away at us. We'll have to see if that's the right play. He leads with Pikachu. We know that Pikachu is going to be a one-shot, so we're only fighting against 5 Pokemon, really. Here comes the Pescion, and we crit. Perfect. On to the Snorlax we go. Probably going to be a 3-shot against this Snorlax. Just got to hope that we crit again. Bloody hell. Return on the Zard does a lot of damage. Please don't burn. Oh, for God's sakes. Try again. We had such good luck, and then we are consistently 10% burned here. I don't know what Red's Charizard is chewing on. Maybe he's been sharing Secret Potion with Jazz. But he consistently gets the burn at the worst moments. How about Psychic? How much does this do? Not a blooming lot, really. I think we've got to get through that Espeon without Reflect. I think that is the only way, really. We'd rather take a Psychic than a Reflect, but a Psychic isn't very likely. We can crit again. That also works. Please don't Body Slam. Please don't Paralyze on this Body Slam. Double Amnesia. Brilliant. We'll take that. How about we Thunderbolt? Try and Paralyze this thing. Didn't happen. Didn't burn, though. Thank goodness for that. 112 now as the Blastoise comes out. Still looking for a Paralysis off Thunderbolt. He goes for Rain Dance. We've got the win. It's as simple as that now. We are very much in win territory. We'll swap to Hidden Power just for a turn. He uses Sunny Day, and we can finish off with a Psychic. And that is Red defeated in 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 35 seconds. Our best ever Girafarig time. Let's take a look at those leaderboards. And that time of 1 hour, 2 minutes and 35 seconds puts us in 6th place on our 4 moves leaderboard, in between Kingler and Machamp there. Muck had better watch out, it's been pushed into the page 1 drop zone, and we have Octillery heading up page 1 now for our 4 moves leaderboard. If we take a look at the overall Crystal leaderboard, once again we are on page 1, this time in 7th place, behind a Zangoose challenge and ahead of Staraptor there. Archeops had better watch out, it's in the page 1 drop zone, and now we have Rayquaza heading up page 2. Overall, I'm happy with this challenge. I had a couple of mess-ups here and there, but nothing too devastating. Definitely a Pokemon that I think has a little bit more in it than a 102-35, but for a first 4 moves challenge, I will absolutely take it. We've smashed every other Girafarig challenge time we've ever had here on the channel, and I am very, very pleased with the outcome. I hope you are too. If you've got any feedback, of course, leave it in the comments down below. If you want to see more challenges just like this, make sure to click the subscribe button. If, of course, you want to see challenges like this a little bit early and some bonus challenges, you can always join the channel membership and become a HM friend. But until next time, I will say thank you all so much for watching. It has been a pleasure, as always, and I will catch you all very, very soon.